Oh man, someone asked me this
What's
before.
your price?
I feel like everyone has a price.
It is a tale as old as time, from Aesop's Scorpion and the Frog to Little Red as she meets the cunning and charismatic wolf.
Yeah,
If,
part of me
if all
feels
4
like,
million DM'd you on Instagram
Yeah.
and said, we hate you because of this.
I don't know, because I feel like part of my audience understands the financial aspect of it, and I feel like they would be like, yo, Graham, you're an idiot if you say no to this. Like, we get it. I'm hoping that would be the response.
When it comes to the financial world, most of us are like Little Red, just trying to make it to grandmother's house. You wanted to be financially free, an entrepreneur, or just wanted to know how to invest properly. The only problem is that, like Little Red, no one taught you the path. Yet you are determined as ever to make it to your own version of grandmother's house. And at the first fork of the road, you come across a man named Graham Stephan. He appears at first glance to be completely transparent and down to earth as can be. After all, Graham was just like you. He got his C's and D's throughout his school career. He was obsessed with finance from his youth. From the age of 13, Graham was selling photos of exotic fish and corals, and just over a decade later, through his financial acumen, he was worth over $1 million. And lucky for you, Graham is willing to share.
So for anyone in their 20s wondering what you could begin doing today, here's everything that I've learned along the way over the last 10 years, and a lot of this has taken me over a decade to really figure out.
Just take the path of pins, he says.
I then figured out that, wait a second, I should be opening up a retirement account and investing in index funds.
Or the path of needles.
By the third year of me selling real estate, I was hitting over $100,000 per year.
Don't worry, he says, they both lead to the same place. So blinded by his words, you choose a path, failing to see Graham as he runs down the other.
I'm going to be talking to you today about a very cool training, something that can help you make an extra $5,000 to $25,000 per month, and is totally different than anything else that you've seen. And to provide this training, I'm bringing in none other than celebrity entrepreneur Dan Locke to come and join me.
By the time you arrive at your grandma's house, your prize has already been devoured. And by the time you notice what big teeth he has, you are powerless to stop him. What? Are you waiting for something? There is no hunter to this tale.
It's the best.
But I'm-
It's the
but
best.
I'm
Cryptocurrency
saying-
the best, has been the best Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, but TikTok was pushing those videos, and I think the same would also apply to YouTube for, I think, certain creators that push certain products, services. I'm mainly talking investments, but I think that YouTube has a responsibility.
Fees are bad. Fees are very bad. But FTX, there are no fees whatsoever.
And if you sign up with our link,
You trust the guy more when you see the car he drives. He's worth like $20 billion or something, and he drives like this kind. I don't want to call it beat up. It's like it's an older Toyota.
As some of you may have seen, FTX US has been a sponsor here on the channel for the majority of the year. Their international counterpart, however, FTX.com, has recently faced liquidity issues, disabled withdrawals, and because of that, I'm worried about the potential impact to FTX US.
The best of the wolves are the ones that can hide their ears, eyes, and teeth until it is time to strike. And Graham was that charismatic wolf.
Let's talk about FTX US. This is a company that's been a recurring sponsor here on the channel since spring of this year. They were at the forefront of compliance and working closely with regulators to ensure that the entire space was a safer place for everybody. They told me that while other companies had thousands of employees and high overhead, they operated pretty lean with only a few hundred employees, and that allowed them to scale and adapt much faster than their competitors. Now, admittedly, I related to that because throughout my entire career in real estate, I lived below my means and I saved everything possible just so I would be able to invest. As a result of that, I've not only let down myself, but I've also let down everybody who watches my channel as a reliable source of information, and at the end of the day, that is what matters to me the most, more than anything.
Yeah,
If,
part of me
if all
feels
4
like,
million DM'd you on Instagram and said, we hate you because of this.
I don't know, because I feel like part of my audience understands the financial aspect of it, and I feel like they would be like, yo, Graham, you're an idiot if you say no to this. Like, we get it. I'm hoping that would be the response.
A lot of life relies upon luck and manipulating it to your advantage. Graham was no exception. He was a lucky man whose parents supported him, and he had found a mentor who had shared his passion with the young, money-hungry man. Graham had used his skills in photography that he had gained from taking photos of fish and applied it to lease listings, fixing them up for other realtors until he had eventually built up a small client base. And slowly but surely, he frugally saved every single penny until the housing market crashed.
So I had about $200 and something thousand that was saved up by the time I was about 21 years old. And I noticed real estate was so cheap in 2011. And what I did is I figured I should buy some rental property. So I bought my first house for $60,000, and I bought these places, by the way, all cash. At the very least, I'm buying it basically a third of what it was worth.
After cleaning up the property, Graham was now a landlord who had just had to wait for the market to recover. And so when it did, so too did his portfolio. At this stage, Graham had nothing but good intentions. He even claimed to never increase the rents.
I don't raise rents, believe it or not.
What?
Yeah.
Really? Why not?
My thought is if I have a really good tenant who always pays on time and no issues, I would rather just not raise the rent and keep them there a long time.
I will say I did make a mistake. 2 years ago, I made a comment to Kevin O'Leary, and I said, well, I've never raised the rent on that tenant. And it was 10 years I had not raised the rent. She was a great tenant, never a single issue, always paid on time, treated the place like her own. She was a tenant 10 years later, had some issues, and I don't want to go into detail, but I wish I should have raised the rent. It was a huge mistake that I made looking back.
Graham now had multiple properties and multiple tenants with assets appreciating in value. He decided he needs to give back to his generation that were still stuck in darkness. Graham swore that he would be fully transparent and open about how he spent his finances and how he was frugal with everything. And over the years, he managed to cultivate a massive following of over 4 million subscribers, all listening in to his financial advice. Graham would reach out and share other successful stories from other businesses, from real estate to even consulting work.
What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So I'm here at a friend's house, Kevin David. He just bought this insane place. I drove 2.5 hours to get down here to check out this house. So let's go and see it. You know you've made it when you have a home that has like a mini bridge that gets into the front door. So let's check this out. MTV style cribs video. Oh, there we go.
Welcome to the crib,
There we
baby.
go. Thanks, man. Beautiful home.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, guys, meet Kevin David.
Nice to meet you guys. Grandma always welcome in the home.
Let's check it out.
It's just a shame that even those that claim to hunt wolves were unable to see what big ears he had.
Stephen, you're exaggerating. These people are not as predatory as you're saying. You're saying they're always preying on desperate hopes and dreams. What are you talking about? Well, may I submit for your consideration, Daddy Dan's Daycare.
Hello, HTC brothers and sisters.
I'm going to be talking to you today about a very cool training, something that can help you make an extra $5,000 to $25,000 per month, and is totally different than anything else you've seen. And to provide this training, I'm bringing in none other than celebrity entrepreneur Dan Lok to come and join me.
What big eyes he had.
We'll begin with the most unscrupulous behavior from Mr. Lopez.
You know what's funny is one of my most viewed videos in the first, maybe the first year when I started my channel was breaking down your video.
Okay.
And it was why Ty Lopez ads are so effective. And I went through your ads and would break down why they work so well.
And most importantly, what big teeth he had.
Kevin David was officially inducted into the Fake Guru Hall of Fame last week when the FTC finally jumped in and told him they had enough. They called it phony Amazon and crypto money-making schemes.
What's up, you guys? It's Graham here. So I'm here at a friend's house, Kevin David.
As the old saying goes, show me your friends, and I'll show you who you truly are. Yeah, this rings strangely true with Graham. The man kept the company of those who many would claim to be charlatans, with even some having convictions of fraud underneath their belt. It's a shame, because had we seen these red flags earlier, poor little Red would probably still be around, and not had her dreams snatched up from underneath her nose. Millions of people trusted Graham. He appeared to be a down-to-earth man who understood the complicated world of finance, and would help you grow and generate wealth just like him. He explained the complicated in simple language and showed you the costs of running a business straight down to the penny.
From a cost standpoint, we invested a total of $13,000 for branding, legal, website creation, and packaging. Then we pre-ordered another several $1,000s worth of coffee to get ready for a launch. So all in, we spent about $8,000 each to get it off the ground. However, overhead is expensive.
But the principle of financial minimalism and living in a mansion do not go hand in hand.
Hey there, come on in. check out the new place. First, we have the entryway. As it was being built, we really wanted to make this a bold statement when you walked in.
Graham's audience was built up through transparency, trust, and low risk. He had built up several channels, all within the range of 100,000 subscribers, all built around the financial advice ranging from real estate to stocks to crypto. And one of his biggest endorsements to all of these channels was FTX, the crypto exchange that the CEO himself had described as a Ponzi scheme.
You know, X tokens being given out each day. All these like sophisticated firms are like, huh, that's interesting. Like if the total amount of money in the box is $100 million, then it's going to yield $16 million this year in X tokens being given out for it. That's a 16% return. That's pretty good. We'll put a little bit more in, right? And maybe that happens until there are $200 million in the box. So, you know, sophisticated traders and or people on crypto Twitter or other sort of similar parties go and put $200 million in the box collectively, and they start getting these X tokens for it, right? And now all of a sudden everyone's like, wow, people just decide to put $200 million in the box. This is a pretty cool box, right? Like this is a valuable box, as demonstrated by all the money that people have apparently decided should be in the box. And who are we to say that they're wrong about that? Like,
crypto investments are just another tulip bubble waiting to burst, which means it's easy to make a lot of money fast, but it's equally easy to go bankrupt. FTX was promoted heavily by Graham to his audience as a safe and regulated exchange when crypto's biggest selling point is that it is not regulated and it is volatile.
I would tell them that it's more important than ever to use a reputable exchange who gives the best pricing and has a wide range of products and services to choose from. That's why I'm really proud to stand behind today's sponsor, FTX. They're one of the largest US regulated cryptocurrency exchanges in the world in terms of trading volume and daily users for good reason.
Now, it's important to note that Graham might not have known the fraud that was going on behind the backs by the CEO. The point is that Graham should have never given his endorsement to the exchange, as crypto went against his entire philosophy that he taught. Graham understood that it was extremely volatile of an investment, and he preaches the safe path to investing and wealth generation. And yet his vetted endorsement was the complete opposite end of what he preached. Is it no wonder that those who trusted Graham for his financial advice invested thinking that they were investing along with Graham? Yet, they all lost their money when FTX froze their withdrawals, but Graham, he already received his pieces of silver from his endorsements. Now, to Graham's credit, he did attempt to tell people to pull out of their second company after the first went under, but he did so pretty quietly and not using any of his marketing talents to get the videos seen. It is here that Graham's reputation would be irrevocably ruined. No one would take this man's advice in finance ever again, and he knew this. It's why he began to purge any and all content with FTX. He even went as far as removing an entire channel called Millennial Money. The creator agency who represents Graham removed him and all of those who promoted FTX from their website to hide this information. Graham also began purging every video or work that he did with those he knew were fellow wolves in the past, in an attempt to prevent people from digging them up. But if this FTX thing wasn't good enough for you, well, Graham took a sponsorship from another company called Established Titles, a scam of a company whose own marketing puts the words legal, loophole, and official.
All thanks to our sponsor, Established Titles. They're a project based on the historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lords or ladies in English. And that means, as of today, that's right, I'm officially a lord.
When it is in fact a lie. The Land Registry of Scotland has been very vocal about this issue, taking one rival company to court. It is why their shell companies are all located in Hong Kong. Now, they do in fact plant one tree per order, but they do this by donating to one tree planted, which, according to their website, has the low cost of a single dollar per tree. And with a minimum of a $50 for a PDF and a $30 charge to print, plus a $50 for a frame, that you can do the math as to how much they were actually making, as they were making hundreds of millions of dollars for their measly $2 million donated. There is a reason why they are offering tens of thousands of dollars to multiple influencers to promote this. And it's simple. This is not a charity. It is a for-profit con. And yet, despite all of these red flags coming up in a simple 5-minute Google search, and videos on YouTube dating as far back as 2 years, Graham had the wonderful idea to promote this to his followers following the FTX collapse. When the inevitable backlash came, Graham just gave a half-hearted apology and brushed it aside, going as far as to say, it's business as usual. Stop listening to the claims of men and start studying their actions. If you fail to do this, then you just become like poor little Red, as she's devoured by the big bad wolf. And remember, there never was a hunter to this tale.